When is your manifestation coming into fruition? When is it gonna come, Naya? You guys ask me all the time this question in the comment section as well as in my coaching. It's always like, I see no movement or I saw some movement. When is it gonna come? When is it gonna come? And this is what you should do in order to understand that it is happening any minute now, and it's happening now. Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Nega, and on this channel we talk about the law of assumption, manifestation, metaphysical world, quantum physics, and so much more. I'm in London right now, and that's why you hear voices. I'm outside, the light is what it is, but guys, let's talk about this concept. And this is how I reply to people, especially when it comes down to feel triggered, when you perceive that nothing is going on, or perhaps you're having the opposite of what you want to manifest. You have to understand that, I want to quote Neville Goddard in this one, no matter how an assumption is false in the present moment, if persisted in, is bound to find actualization. That is spiritual law. It goes even beyond the law of karma. It goes beyond even certain laws of physics. It is spiritual law, which is very much intertwined with quantum physics, that states that the observer collapses the wavelength of probability. Now, obviously, quantum physics looks at the subatomic level of things. However, I know enough from personal experience that, in my opinion, what Neville Goddard said and what quantum physics has to say, they're very much going hand in hand. And I highly suggest you to study a little bit further about it, especially if your logical mind is preventing you from believing in the law. And I do have a webinar around that. The link is down below. However, what you should do in order to understand and to make your manifestation faster is to, every time that you want to focus on the 3D, every single time that you want to focus on time and you feel impatient and you feel like, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? You want to ask tarot readings and things like that. You want to say instead in your mind, it is happening now. It is happening now, or even it's happening at any minute now. Oh, there is a cat over there. That's my sign. It is happening. See, it is up. Oh my God, you guys, you need to see him. I'm so sorry. It is happening now. So if your sign is a cat, I don't know if you guys can see it. I love it. Like, look at that. It is happening now. And today it's so weird because I did ask for a sign, and usually the universe, my subconscious mind gives me sign in the form of felines. And when I started to do the video, forget about it, and I even say this to myself, it is happening now, I saw the cat and manifested the cat. You understand how this worked? Like, I just proved it to you. It is happening now. The reason why it is happening now is because in actuality, for your brain and your subconscious mind, there is no difference between what has happened in the past, what is happening in the present, and what is going to happen in the future. Your subconscious mind lives in the fourth dimensional state, which is the state of time, but time not in a linear way. It's time in an endless, eternal now. So even someone like Joe Dispenza tells you to remember your future, to bring the future through visualizations, affirmation, or any saturations of the mind, in whatever shape or form, into the present moment. Because your brain, like I've said in millions of my videos, doesn't understand the difference between past, present, or future. So most of the time what we do, and I talked about it on Patreon, by the way, I have a video where I reiterate the concept of thought transmission and how we live in a constant eternal now, and my routine on how I use inner conversations in order to remember my future. But to stick to the topic of this video and timing, what you guys have to realize is that most of the time, unconsciously, we wake up in the morning and we start thinking about the problems of the day, the problem of tomorrow. And sometimes when we think about our desires, whether it is a specific person, money, job, or career, we unconsciously think about our past memories. And I cannot stress this enough, our self-concept and our memories, according to cubism, which is a branch of quantum physics. So it is science, guys. You're creating your own hologram, believe it or not. Science is discovering that. So what happens is that if you go back with your mind through a memory and you bring it on into your present moment, your brain relieves those sensations and doesn't understand that you are talking about the past. Your brain, the only thing that understands is like, oh, God of my reality, I'll push this out for you because this is still your self-concept, it's still your memory, it's still lingering in your energy field. These are your thoughts. So my suggestion to you guys, when you are worried about the time, stop rehearsing those conversations with your specific person, with your boss, with whatever that stem from the past. You need to make a conscious effort. And it's not even an effort, because the more you do it, the more it becomes effortless. But you need to make a conscious effort to project yourself constantly in the future through your affirmations, through your assumptions, or even through your visualization. Choose one of these three. Many of you guys tell me, oh, I have aphantasia, so I cannot visualize. Not a big deal. Just affirm. You do you, and you choose whatever works for you. But the point is to saturate your mind with the belief that it is happening now. And why we know that it's happening now? Because we know that our assumptions create, we know that our thoughts transmit into the quantum field, and through the art of assumption, we remember our future rather than remembering our past. And when we remember our future, times, scientifically, even speakingly, quantum physically speaking, let's put it this way, collapses reality. You are living in a fourth dimensional state where you don't care anymore about the 3D, you don't care anymore about linear time, but you see the waves of probability that exist in the fourth dimension, and you collapse those waves of the future because your mind can remember the future. And I know that it sounds a little bit far-fetched for so many people, which are very irrational, and they're like, come on, I don't see it. But the more you will practice it, the more you will put it into test, and the more you will say it is happening now, the more you will remain shocked. And my suggestion to you is to obviously try to experiment this with things that are easier. Many coaches say this, and it's very important in order to build a belief around the law. Like, for instance, it is happening now, people always offer me coffee. It is happening now, people always compliment me. It is happening now, I receive a rose today, whatever to test the law, but to test the practice of it is happening now. You must understand when you're triggered about time, because whatever you focused upon persists, you are collapsing a certain wave where you're saying, oh, it takes so much time to get my manifestation, and your subconscious is like, let me take even more time, because that's all you are observing. The point of the entire game of reality, the point of the entire game of manifestation is to understand that you are the observer. When you just observe a movie, yes, you can sometimes immerse yourself in the drama, but you don't identify yourself with the drama. That is when you become really the master of your reality. When you understand that you're not the character, you're not the identification. All of these people are real people, but they hold a script in the movie that is yours. You are the observer projecting the movie. And so when you are the observer, you just observe. You don't identify. And through the projection of your mind, you know the end of the movie. You remember your future, and you have fun with that. So, like I said, I want to repeat, because repetition imprints the subconscious mind. Today, you're worried about the time. Nothing is happening. It's not coming. It's not coming. It is happening now. It is happening now. And to believe that even more, that it's happening now, you can use mind movies. You can use vision board. You can use hypnosis. You can use meditation. You can use daydreaming. You can use visualization. Anything to saturate your mind into a feeling of satisfaction. Neville talked about this because there was a student of Neville that asked him, yeah, Neville, but how long do I have to do visualization? How long do I have to imagine before my manifestation coming to fruition? And Neville told him and responded to him and said, until you get the feeling of satisfaction. And this, if you have been manifested things before, you perfectly know what I'm talking about. And I did a video up around this that is called the Sabbath state. The feeling of satisfaction is this understanding. You affirm, you visualize, you do all this technique, not only to saturate your mind, but to remember the future, to feel in the most natural way possible that what you want is yours. and it's going to happen effortlessly, and it's going to happen in a natural way. It doesn't have to do with conjuring necessarily emotion. It has to do with repetition. So even if you don't believe a particular affirmation, not an issue. But you will notice naturally that if you keep repeating a certain affirmation, you will get into a sensation of satisfaction. The sensation of satisfaction is, you know what? I almost feel like I have this. I almost feel like I don't even need to affirm anymore. I almost feel like it has already happened. So you will switch from it is happening now, because when you are in the mode of it is happening now, you're still saturating your mind, and then most likely either you will get immediately your manifestation, that can happen, or on other times you will feel this feeling like Neville Goddard talks about of satisfaction. And when this feeling of satisfaction is impressed into the mind, your mind really gets blurry and doesn't really understand, and there is a neurological reason of why that happens, and I explained this in my webinar. But your mind gets a little bit blurry and doesn't understand anymore whether your visualization or affirmation have already come into fruition, like they already happened, or they have to happen. It gets a little bit blurry, and it only feels like I don't need it. Like I feel I rehearsed this in my mind so many times, and this has happened so many times already that I believe it. I don't need it anymore. Bam. And that's when you manifest. But the entire trick is to, any single time that you feel triggered about timing especially, is to not ignore it, because even what you ignore might persist because you are the observer, but to observe what serves you. Don't involve yourself in the drama. Don't identify yourself with the drama. Absorb and take only what serves you. And if you are worried about time, what is serving you right now is to know that it is done and it is happening now. And any single minute, any moment now, it could happen. And any moment you can go to your wonderful imagination and see it in your head and saturate your mind to a feeling of satisfaction. Every single time that I feel triggered about time, I do this, then I go on about my day, I do acts of appreciation. I always get exactly what I want all the time, because in reality, I know how reality works. So unplug yourself from the matrix, unplug yourself from the illusion of the 3D, and know that it is happening now, because everything is consciousness. You cannot change matter with matter. It will take time. And the reason why it takes time to change matter with matter is because the 3D moves in a linear time. So it takes time for me to go from point A to point Z. But because I know that consciousness is the source of everything, consciousness is the source that creates universe. When I raise my in consciousness, when I go in the fourth dimensional state, which is in my imagination as the observer, time collapses. There is no more linear time, and I can remember my future, and I can bring my future into the present moment. And the more I do this, the more I bring my future into the present moment, the more my assumptions will create. And that is Neville Goddard one-on-one, you guys. I hope this video helped you out. The only thing effortless, fast, and easy that you got to do when you are triggered about timing, listen, you don't want to visualize, you don't want to do any of that, just affirm it is happening now, and it is. Love you. See you very soon.